Have you ever had your phone suddenly shut down when it was at 1%? Or fallen out of the map in a video game, tumbling into the void? We usually just call these bugs or errors and move on, but these errors don't just stay on screens. Throughout history, a tiny misplaced comma or a wrong unit conversion has crashed planes, melted buildings, crashed stock markets, and even sunk massive warships. Based on Matt Parker's book, Humble Pie, today we're going to take a close look at humanity's most expensive, embarrassing, and stupidest math mistakes. In other words, real life's glitches. Math is essentially the operating system of the modern world. Everything from the bridges we cross to internet banking, from traffic lights to pacemakers, is built on mathematical precision. But the problem is, while math is perfect in its own universe, we humans are not. We get tired, distracted, and sometimes just plain lazy. And when we try to apply math to the real world with our flawed nature, the results can be sometimes funny and sometimes catastrophic. Let's start with the most expensive math error in history. The date was June 4th, 1996. The European Space Agency launched the massive Ariane 5 rocket, the result of years of work. Everything looked fine, but just 37 seconds after liftoff, the rocket suddenly veered off course and self-destructed in midair. With that explosion, about $370 million, billions in today's money, evaporated in seconds. So, what was the cause? A loose screw? A fuel leak? No. The problem was just a wrong data type selection. The number measuring the rocket's horizontal velocity was stored in a 64-bit format. This is a big box capable of holding huge numbers. However, the computer tried to convert this data into an older system, a 16-bit format. The problem was, the largest number a 16-bit space can hold is 32,767. As soon as the rocket's speed exceeded this number, the computer didn't know what to do. The number didn't fit in the box, the system overflowed, and the computer interpreted this overflow data as an error code, flipping the engines in the opposite direction. Result: boom. Years of effort gone, simply because the box they tried to fit the numbers into was too small. Gamers are actually very familiar with this integer overflow phenomenon. Think of the legendary game Pac-Man. If you reach level 256, the game breaks, and half the screen turns into alphabet soup, becoming unplayable. The reason is exactly the same as the Ariane rocket. The game stores the level count in an 8-bit space. The limit of 8-bit is 255. When you move to level 256, the system can't loop back to start, it freaks out, and a glitch occurs. This is history's most famous, most popular error. But math errors don't just happen in the digital world. Sometimes concrete and steel glitch too. Let's remember the futuristic Millennium Bridge opened in London in 2000 with great excitement. Engineers had calculated everything: wind, weight, materials. But the day the bridge opened, as soon as people stepped on it, it started swaying like a cradle. Everyone was terrified. Engineers were shocked because everything was perfect on paper. There was one variable they missed: people. When the bridge swayed slightly, pedestrians instinctively widened their stance to keep their balance, matching the bridge's swaying rhythm. Thousands of people unknowingly started stepping at the same time, to the same rhythm. As people walked in sync, the bridge swayed more. As the bridge swayed more, people became more synchronized. In physics, this is called a positive feedback loop. Engineers did the math right, but they forgot to add human psychology to the equation. A similar engineering disaster happened at the walkie-talkie skyscraper, also in London. The building had a concave design that widened towards the top. It looked very cool. But there was a basic geometry lesson the architects forgot. Concave mirrors focus light. When the sun hit a certain angle, this massive skyscraper turned into a magnifying glass, focusing sunlight onto the street below like a laser. So much so that the plastic parts of a luxury Jaguar parked on the street melted, and side mirrors dripped away. People even fried eggs on the pavement with that heat. The architects loved the building's shape so much that they ignored a simple simulation calculating the sun's angle. It was dubbed the skyscraper death ray. Errors sometimes stem not from mixed languages, but from mixed units. Let's go to one of NASA's most embarrassing moments. In 1999, the Mars Climate Orbiter, while about to enter Mars's orbit, plunged into the atmosphere and burned up. A $125 million piece of trash. When the investigation opened, an incredible truth came out. NASA engineers were using the metric system, meters and kilograms, in their calculations. However, Lockheed Martin, the firm that built the spacecraft, was sending data in American units, feet and pounds. When one said, increase thrust by 10 units, the other thought it was newtons, but it was actually pounds force. Because two giant institutions didn't do a simple unit conversion, didn't ask pounds or kilograms, the spacecraft crashed into Mars. Making the same mistake in the air with passengers on board is much more terrifying. In 1983, an Air Canada plane suddenly lost its engines at 41,000 feet. It was out of fuel. How could that be? Because Canada was switching to the metric system that year. The ground crew mixed up liters with kilograms and pounds with gallons while refueling. Because of a simple error made with a calculator, the plane was loaded with only half the fuel required. Fortunately, with incredible skill, the pilots managed to glide that massive passenger jet like a glider and land it at an old racetrack in Gimli. This event went down in history as the Gimli Glider, but it was actually history's luckiest math error. Even counting time is math, and we humans aren't very good at that either. Entering the year 2000, the whole world trembled with the fear of Y2K, the millennium bug. Since computers stored years as 2 digits, they would think they had gone back to 1900 after 99 became 00. Billions of dollars were spent to fix this. But hold on, it's not over yet. Next up is the 2038 problem. Many computer systems store time as the number of seconds passed since January 1st, 1970. On January 19, 2038, this number of seconds will reach the limit of 32-bit systems. If we don't update systems by then, in 2038, many computers in the world will think time has reverted to the year 1901. So, another giant glitch is waiting at the door. In conclusion, as Matt Parker describes in his book, math is an abstract, perfect, and flawless world. Squares are perfect, pi goes on forever. But we humans try to bring these perfect rules down to the real world with flawed materials, tired minds, and sometimes just laziness. History is full of disasters created by those who said, "A little rounding error won't hurt," or "We'll convert this unit later." Next time your computer freezes or you see a weird number in your bank account, don't get too mad. You are simply witnessing that glitch moment where the universe's perfect math collides with humans' flawed nature. Stay with History Glitch, and don't forget to double-check your math.